for F350 6.0 crank no start or long crank. I'm gonna start checking for data. Well, I'm gonna be changing a little bit the way how I'm gonna be doing the videos now. So the first change I will be doing is we will be troubleshooting the vehicle, and then at the end, after we finish with the diagnostic, I will be explaining how the system works for the people that wanted to know why we did that test, or how do you know, how do I know that? But because there's a lot of people just wanted to know what's wrong and what fix it. That's it. They don't want to learn how the foundation of the system. So I will do the videos like that, and after I'm done with that part, I will go to the explanation for the people that wanted to learn more about it. So in this case, I have here a 2006 Ford F350 with 6.0 engine. So the same testing applies to 7.3, and also it doesn't matter if F250, 350, if it is a 6.0 or a 7.3, they have the same system. And the other there. So then we will be troubleshooting this one, and the testing I did is because this way is because they already replaced the high pressure pump, and also the IPR is being replaced already in this vehicle. So I didn't do the testing I did it a little bit different because of that reason. And remember, this vehicle on cold was starting okay, and when it was warm, it didn't start at all. After running the engine like 20 minutes, it didn't want to start, so you had to wait at least like an hour, and it will restart again. I will explain at the end of the video why that happened. So we're checking here all the diagnostic DTC. So on the computer it's only P1000 on the PCM. The rest are for ABS, for bus communication, generic electronic module, transfer case, low voltage. Okay, so the vehicle doesn't start. So we're gonna concentrate in that area. Right now we're gonna go out here and go to the engine and check for data. So we check on custom data here, and we're looking at here one of the most relevant data here related to the crank no start. With this 6.0, we're looking for ICP, injector control pressure sensor is about 2.5 key on, engine off. When we're cranking or engine running, it's going to be about 0.3, 3.4, indicating, you know, we will up pressure there. And right here, the most important piece of data, 3, where we're looking for a crank no start in this case. ICP desired is how much the computer wanted, and this one is going to be the actual pressure. So these vehicles need a minimum of 500 psi to start, because the injectors are electromechanical. So if that's the minimum pressure to open the injectors, that is one of the criteria to open the injectors. The other one is the fuel pressure, minimum 45. And the third is the electrical command, minimum 45 voltage. So then this one and this one has to be, you know, what the computer wanted. We're gonna see if the system can build up that pressure. The second is here, injection pressure regulator. Right now it's about 15%. While cranking, this should never get into 85%. If it does, that means the computer is applying full ground duty cycle to try to achieve the pressure. So because this IPR is normally open, so it's dumping the pressure. We wanted to build up more pressure. The computer is closing that one to build pressure, and to close that one, it keep adding and adding some percent of the duty cycle. So normally 30-40% duty cycle they are running, but should never get during cranking to 85. So we're gonna check some data here and see what's going on. Now is the time when it doesn't want to start. I had it running here before. We can see it was accelerating there. Then I went here to 0 RPMs. Now I start cranking and it doesn't start. As we can see here, all the time the computer is activating 80% of the time the IPR, so that way you can, and it's requesting for 652 PSI to start, and it's only getting 223, and it's trying to close all the way. It closed all the way the IPR, and then it couldn't build. Most of the pressure is 223. Well, I have seen this before. Usually it's not a pump. The pump is capable of producing, because the IPR is not fully closed, it's not fully open to dump. Usually it's a little bit closed, and usually if I see this pressure, that means the pump is pumping something at least. So now we're gonna check the sealing system. We can see here also synchronization was fine. When the vehicle doesn't start in this condition, you have to have the yes here, because otherwise it won't. That's the reason why it doesn't start. Minimum the injector needs 45 voltage. It has 47, so seems like we're doing good now. Let's do that test. So we got the setup here to be ready. So what we're gonna be doing is using this tool to remove the IPR long extension. We gotta remove the expansion tank for the coolant and remove the FICAM, and then we are going to install this tool after we remove the IPR, add some pressure to the system, and we're gonna see if we're losing the pressure here. If we're losing the pressure, we're gonna find out where's the pressure going to, and if it is holding the pressure, that will mean we have a high pressure pump is faulty, not building up pressure. And then I have here the light, and I have a ratchet here, so we're getting ready here. You have the tool there, and we're gonna be inserting air right now, chop air. Well, we can see here the big leak here. We had to remove the FICAM, fuel injection control module, the hose that was to the turbo from the air cleaner here, expansion tank to gain access here to install the tool. On a good system, this one, when I close it here, it should seal. It shouldn't have to come out, you see. Well, first it's gonna be how the system works, how we build pressure inside the system. So right here we have a picture here, and it's showing me here. As we can see here, we have the high pressure pump. So while the engine is cranking, during the engine is cranking, this pump is gonna be producing pressure all time. Should be producing pressure all time. That pressure should go here to the rails through the stem pipe, or the oil pickup tubes they call stem pipes, going through here to the injectors, rail and injectors. Same thing here. On the back here we have the STC fitting. Okay, the pump is creating pressure all time. Why we don't get that pressure here? Why the vehicle doesn't start? So on the rear, on the back of the pump, we have the IPR solenoid, injection pressure regulator. What does it do? This is a dump valve. So what this means is, without being energized, this is normally open. So then when it is normally open, that means it will be we will not build in pressure, and that pressure will be going down to the oil pan to drain. Okay. That one is normally open, but it's not fully open. In between his 0% to 100% open and closing, it is like about 5% close without energizing. So that means if the pump is building pressure, I should be seeing some pressure when I'm cranking. If the pump is building pressure 50, 150, less than 200, but minimum 50 I have seen, because that one is open but it's not fully like open. Okay, so what happened here? The computer wanted to build up pressure in the system, so minimum the system requires 500 psi to start, minimum, but the computer is usually asking 600. So I'm cranking and computer is saying, okay, I want 600 psi. And then we will actual pressure. How much is my actual pressure? We see it was 160 or something like that, 228. So what does mean is when that pressure is so the pressure cannot be built. So computer action is, okay, I cannot get what I wanted to, add a little bit more duty cycle, more pulses of, to this one to start closing, and then you get to the point the computer send the 85% duty cycle, which means fully command to be closed, complete, to build pressure in the system. If I cannot build that pressure, it means either the pump is not capable of creating the pressure, the IPR is faulty, because even if the electrical command is there, mechanical we don't know. And then the computer keep giving 85%, we can build pressure, it's still sending the command. Okay, in our case, the pump was replaced already in the IPR, but normally when this vehicle have this type of issue, the first step is replace the IPR. It's hard to test that one. You can test it, there are some tests you can do, but it's hard to test it, because this type of solenoid, they don't make noise, clicking noise when you apply power and ground. You even don't know if that one sealed or not inside. However, instead of we install that tool to substitute that one, and this tool is normally closed, it means like the pressure I'm sending inside, there is no way to be draining that one. That's what we did here at pressure. And why these engines normally act up only most of the time. If you want it to be accurate 100%, this engine has to be warm for doing this test, because in the gasoline engines, we're gonna say a plastic intake manifold is leaking, and when it warms, expand the plastic and seals, and you add smoke to the intake system and you don't find it, and cold you find it. This works different. Whenever it's cold, the seals kind of mold them back, and then seals a little bit. When it gets warms, they kind of deform, and the pressure just escape around them. So if you ever wanted to get it 100%, the engine has to be warm to do this test. There are two ways to do this test. One is I removed the IPR because I wanted to test the complete system, and I found some leak coming out of this area here, where the crankcase tube is coming out of the air cleaner hose, the snorkel. So for me, if I'm adding pressure to this here and I get here, I don't care what's leaking, because I'm gonna be replacing everything. Knowing this engine has a lot of issues, the mileage we have and everything, I will be replacing everything here inside. Taking off the valve cover, replacing the dummy plugs, oil injector seals, all those seals, including the cupping, the little, like on top it has like a little bowl. The standpipe, they call oil pickup tubes, standpipes. On this case, the STC fitting here was replaced because the pump was replaced. That one fell a lot too. And then the pump has two seals, one on the bottom, the one attached to the block. Common, I have seen on this, the people that's mistake is when you buy those seals for this one, is coming with different color of seal. And the yellow is the one goes on the block, because it's been designed to resist higher temperature. If you install the black here and not the yellow, that one will blow up in sooner, like soon, won't last too much. Okay, so however, all the seals, dummy plugs updated. I think the original are like Allen head here like 10 millimeters and the updated are 12 millimeters. And what is the next step? First step when we're doing this, I move to this, but the first step, the very beginning on everything is this. Whenever you have that kind of issues, you know, the first you have to do is check the low pressure oil, the low oil pressure side. What does mean? This engine is super critical, the engine oil. So first I check oil level and condition. If this oil haven't been replaced, it's like very messed up duty. So the first step sometimes is replace the engine oil 2 times or something like that, because that's the brain of the system, level and condition. Okay, I get if I have those two, I move to the next step here. See if I can build up pressure, oil pressure. I would do this test most if I have a vehicle it never built the pressure, cold, hot, on any temperature. I will do this test. I didn't do it in this vehicle because I kind of knew what was the problem, or where was, you know, it wasn't my problem here. But if you have a constant vehicle that never start on any condition, you cannot build up pressure. You go here, remove the filter, and then they want we to press here down here to drain the system for about 10 seconds. Press it out here to drain the oil. Now we're having a system in between 5 to 10 seconds. This this one, the housing should be filling, let's say here, this area with oil, meaning I have pressure. If you want, you can remove here the oil pressure switch and actually check the pressure. You can do that too, no problem. Okay. It's telling me here some information about the pumps, how to remove them. O-ring seal fail a lot sometimes. Okay, we're gonna move to a different subject here. So I was on this one. It was a training I was taking here. This is very important information we have here. Look, ICP sensor, injection control pressure sensor. So there's some spec here is giving me about pressures and voltage. So 0 psi, as we can see, is not 0 voltage. Voltage is 0.2, around 0.2, 0.3 volts. What does it mean? If I have that voltage there, that means electrical, I don't have a circuit issue like a broken wire, sensor open complete, or shorter sensor. That is very important. It's telling me here about 600 psi, it's about 1 volt. And look at here, not PCM can substitute value for psi. Always double check with the voltage on the scanner. If we're checking on the scanner, that means if we have a defective sensor, faulty sensor, the computer is gonna say, okay, I will substitute because this sensor is bad, give me a coil. And now after you give me the coil, it can say 600 psi with 0 volts. What does it mean? The computer can substitute the values psi, but it never substitute the voltage. So always check the voltage. I think on that area we're good. Let me see if I cover another one here. What is this one? I probably covered this one, I think. Yeah, I covered that one already. What is this for? I did that one already, so this is the last one. I was explaining at the beginning, we need a fuel pressure and we need oil pressure, high oil pressure, and we need 45 volts minimum to open the injector. So here's telling me about the fuel pressure. So this is the port to check the fuel pressure. But you can, if you have the adapter, you can do it here, or if you work a lot on this vehicle, you can build up your own drill here and create a port here, and that's gonna be easier, you know, to hook up. So one day I had a vehicle, it was key on, engine not cranking, was building my pressure. As soon as I was cranking the vehicle, I was losing the pressure, and I was some fluctuation on on the fuel pressure gauge. So in this case, they want we to remove this here and this here for each bank and install a balloon here, a glove. So what on the side of the tubes coming from the cylinder head to each bank, but we're disconnecting that one here at the housing. So what is that gonna be doing for us? If you're cranking and this one are doing that, this means to me that there is leaking compression coming out of to this. So how much compression I'm returning here? So that one is not allowing the fuel pressure, I mean the oil diesel, to go into the cylinder head and to the injector. So to do this test, you gotta disable the pump, which is like on the frame rail, just disconnect it, so that way we're not sending fuel pressure or diesel pressure and just making a mess here. But if this happens, the injector sleeve are damaged, so that one are not sealing the compression on the lower part of the injectors. And sometimes that one, what it does, those sleeves too, is when they fail, the compression goes into the cooling system too. So this is a mess with that area there. So I wanted to throw that last piece of information. Hope you enjoyed this and learned something about this. It's not the first vehicle I'm troubleshooting, but it's the first video I'm recording about this power jog, I call this.